it looks like Magnus looks better today. Okay, bishop b5. So that drawing line that I was mentioning, it was with d4. So, okay, bishop b5 promises us that this is going to be quite a game.
Okay, did he just play knight d4? Yeah, that's one of the main moves, right?
I think it's...
Does he have the knight in the center? Or did he...
We will have to move soon.
Yeah, so
knight
d4 because we see Magnus capturing on d4, ed.
Yep.
And is this the line that you're talking about that is very quiet, actually, after e5? Is this where everything gets traded?
Yeah, it is. It is one of the lines as well. There's a drawing line in this too. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, well, hold on. I mean, right now all the pieces are coming off the board, right?
Right.
The knights are coming off the board. So is this Magnus just saying that he wants to...
Just to make a draw?
Just to get into the tie breaks tomorrow?
That's possible.
I kind of feel that's what we're seeing, actually.
Yeah.
Because this is not where white goes trying to play for a win, right? No, this is like just a famous drawing line.
Yep, and you go straight into the end game.
Wow. So Magnus wants to end it today. He wants to get another day
just to play the tie break.
To recover, actually.
Right.
I mean, I'm not shocked, I think, given the information that he gave us, right? And I'm not saying it's like inappropriate at all because, you know, you got to do, what your body allows you to do, right? And if he thinks he's going to have better chances tomorrow, then I totally understand. But yeah, I think that's what we're going to see. Short game today.
Right. And maybe tomorrow, at least there will be one tiebreak match. But we'll stay on this game for a bit more, and then we'll take a look at the other board.
Is he going to play queen e2? Is he just going to get the queens off the board right away?
That's possible, right? I think that's the whole
idea. You can either
idea
castle or play queen e2. So he's probably, he's reaching for the queen. Okay, so the queens are going to come off the board. And Prague is going to get easy draw with the black pieces.
Right. So you may play queen e6 here.
It would be pretty funny though if we only had one game to watch, Irene. Imagine like we had one game to watch and this one ends in like 15 minutes. That would be so sad. Unfortunately, we also have Fabiano versus Abasov, where Fabi is going to be doing his best to stay in this match.
Yeah, and that game is also in the Sicilian, so there should be some fireworks on the board.
So both of these moves are possible to block. Queen e6 is a bit more popular. Probably that's what Prague is going to play, because I guess if they take, maybe you can capture towards the center. I kind of like that a little bit more for black. That's why, white generally does not actually make that trade. And white goes castles. And then after castles, does white then make the trade? No, they don't. They just play rook e1. Which makes sense to me, because you don't really want to be doing that and helping them, open up their rook and helping them capture towards the center. So, you can't be that desperate for a trade, right? I would not be playing that move. So this makes sense. Yeah, it's interesting because, Prague is here just being like, okay, I think I understand his intentions. He wants to get to a draw. What do I need to do to make it happen? And he is still thinking.
Yeah, so, tiebreak is also a pretty good chance for Praggnanandhaa as well. He's younger and probably he has more energy, and he played more tiebreaks here in the World Cup, so he's quite experienced too. And I think it's just due to personal reason that Magnus decides to move on to the tiebreak. Because it has nothing to do with Praggnanandhaa, I guess. It's just because, Praggnanandhaa is a very capable player in the rapid and blitz as well. So, I think, Magnus just want to take it easy today, have more resting hours, and just get ready for tomorrow. Because tomorrow, the tiebreak will be at 2 p.m. So 1 hour earlier than scheduled.
Oh, that's good that you told me that. It's close to my wake-up time.
Yeah.
So this way I can plan it better. Okay, that's good to know because there is going to be a closing ceremony tomorrow too. Yes, and we know these tie breaks. Sometimes they go on for like 5 hours.
Yeah, totally. And seeing how they play and how they performed, it will not be a surprise if they go for like a few games in the sudden death, these 3 minutes plus 2 seconds increment. So, okay, Queen E6 is on the board. And yeah, so normally White plays just castle without taking on E6 and castle bishop C4, yeah, forcing the trade.
Yeah. Well, I guess we can. I mean, should we stay on this game or we can come back to it because they can't draw until move 30. So they're not really going anywhere. There's no 3-move repetitions, I think.
Right. But I just want to quickly point out here, like Queen E6, okay, we might be seeing the exchange of queens soon on the board. Yeah. But the good thing about it is, you know what?
What?
You're not going to blunder your queen if you trade it.
Yeah. Was there a chance that someone could blunder their queen?
No. It's just a joke. Okay, I think we can move on to the next game if you want.
Yeah, let's take a look at Fabi versus Nijat. So Fabi in a must-win situation, and Nijat going for the E6 Sicilian, something that Fabi actually specialized in himself in his earlier days. You know, if you want to learn the E6 Sicilian, you definitely can look at the games of Fabi from, 10, 15 years ago when he was younger. He played the Han Sicilian quite a lot, and I think he had a good feel for it. So, but now he's on the white side. And we actually see knight c6. So this move, either black is going for Taimanov or he's going for this other thing that's become popular recently with knight f6. I would probably guess that one. So Fabi, that's what happened. Yes.
That's what happened, yeah.
Yeah, knight f6, exactly. And so Fabi decides not to go in for this big theoretical branch with knight takes c6 and e5. He goes bishop f4, trying to get into a Sveshnikov, right, where black, you're trying to use these squares to put your knight there, so black goes there, you attack the pawn moves forward, and then you're actually in a main line of the Sveshnikov. Instead, black goes for this line, which is actually, this is looking like a game that we saw this tournament. That was quite a big, impressive game. Do you remember who was playing that one?
Tell me.
It was Linier Dominguez versus Alexei Serrano.
Oh, right.
Remember that game? I think that's what it was because so it goes knight b5 and what is it, like probably castles, a3, bishop c3, knight c3, d5, ed, and that's kind of the beginning of that line. White has the bishop pair, and are you trying to find that game?
Yeah, I will find it for you.
Yeah. And that was a very impressive game by Linier Dominguez. That's kind of one of the games that made us realize he was in good shape in this tournament.
Yeah, so the game went actually with a3. So without bishop f4.
Ah, okay.
So it went knight b5 immediately.
Okay,
yeah.
That's funny. It's funny how the little details, they matter, don't they? He played knight, that's it. He went here. And then we got into this. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, this is the normal.
The
normal one. Yeah,
okay.
But you said that black just tried to equalize it with a slightly worse position.
Yes. So actually, here's a little difference. Yeah. He goes because he starts like this. Huh. Okay. Oh yeah. Well, I can see how it's different now because there's a possibility of knight takes e4. Oh, right. So completely different, yeah?
Yep.
It's like an extra. It's like basically you, instead of playing a3, you have your bishop on f4. And so there's actually still a pin going on. But then there's a fork being threatened. So Fabi is bringing some kind of new idea, I think, to this position. Let's see if it's been played before.
Oh, yes, it is. They already have a few moves. Actually, I prepared this. I remember this exactly. There is one very good game between Grandelius versus Boris Gelfand in Sweden this year, in May 2023. I think it was Malmo. And there's some movement there, I think, on the board.
All right, so black did take.
Yes.
All right.
And then queen
E4.
f3 is on the board.
Queen f3. So I guess we should just show like what happens on knight c7, yeah? Because it's sort of like the big question is what happens on that fork? The king moves over, and then I guess we cannot continue taking the rook, yeah? If we take the rook...
Yeah, you just take the c3.
Yeah, there's actually even this type of move that is really, really painful. You hit a lot of different squares.
Right.
So white cannot go for that. That's a trap, so you'd have to go like queen f3.
Yeah. So, yeah, without knight c7, because almost in this line, knight c7 almost never happened. Depends, actually. Depends on what black did. So here, queen f3. And you have to play d5. Oh, and then knight c7 here. And then you can actually castle first. Castle and then king e7 or king f8. So, oh, hang on. Did we see this? No, because there was one time this year that I went to St. Louis, and then we had like a bunch of like chess meetup, and Fabiano was one of the one of the players on the table, and then we kind of like doing this. I think with Ray, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. And
then we just quickly saw this position. Maybe I was mistaken. Maybe it was not him, but I remember that we kind of like look at this together with other players too.
So basically, this is going to be super sharp and theoretical.
Well,
and,
it's going to be super sharp, and it's actually testing Nijat's memory about it, because it will be like a 30-move deep theory.
Right, and you can see that he is trying to remember things actually.
So after this, d5 is the normal move to play. And then after that, it's castling. That is a very good move.
Yeah, so castle's queenside, yeah? After d5. Or do you want to throw in the check on c7, right? So after d5, white has two main moves. They can either go with knight c7 or they can go with castle's queenside. So right now, white's down a pawn. White sacrificed the pawn, I guess, in order to get that check on c7. And now, well, I don't know. Which move do you want to look at? I see games here from as far back as 1984.
Wow. Actually, let me quickly look at the game that I mentioned before. It was Grandelius and Gelfand, because it was such a cool game. There was a point when they were trying to recall what they prepared, and then I think Grandelius spent like 37 for that move, and then Gelfand also spent like 38 minutes. I mean, 38 minutes and then 37 minutes, something like that. So,
well, you know, it's interesting because actually I just have never seen this bishop f4 move in this position. Like, I mean, I guess compared to knight db5 or knight c6, it's like it must be quite rare, right? Let's actually see how often bishop f4 gets played. Yeah, well, I mean, like in this database that I'm looking at, it says like 1% of the time, and like 58% for knight db5 and 24% for this one. So yeah, you can see, like, you know, unless you're really playing this stuff a lot as white and black, like this move you might have just missed. So definitely something new for me. Bishop f4, bishop b4, knight b5. So white sacrifices the pawn,
queen f3,
attacks the knight,
and
d5 is on the board.
And knight c7 first.
Yeah, so he actually goes for like the more obvious check on c7.
And king f8 is on the board. There is another move with king e7. It's more tactical, but it's a bit dubious. So king f8 will lead into equalization, actually. But it's a very long theory. And I actually found this game that I mentioned. So king f8, instead of castle, it's knight takes a8. And
right
then,
here.
Yes. And there are a few ways to make a draw in this position. And after that, e5 will...
e5, right? Let's just try to understand. So we gave up a rook.
Yep.
The knight trapped in the corner. Now you're just attacking this bishop calmly. Okay.
Yeah, and then just try to...
eventually, like, win this knight and have, like, the extra pawn.
Actually, you're not going to win that knight.
No?
No, you just play in the center and then try to attack the king. And in which case, it will be very funny. You give up this rook, but you'll get this rook. So these two rooks will be off the board soon. So the theory.
So what happens in that game? Let's just see a few moves. Bishop d2.
Yeah,
right?
bishop d2 and then knight d4, queen d1.
Yeah.
Queen h4.
I mean, it's just like interesting to show how crazy this line is.
Yeah.
I mean, these two knights in the center is not something you see every day. Queen h4.
And then g3. Yeah, because it's a checkmate idea on f2.
Yeah,
and
queen f6 maybe.
Queen f6, yeah, you're still on this. And you provoke this g3 so that f3 is weak. And then knight takes e4.
Okay.
And then knight f3 check.
Wow, okay.
King e2. Oh, no, queen takes f3, sorry.
I guess there's some sort of perpetual.
Yeah, I think if you want to make a perpetual, the king can just go to e2. I think there shouldn't be anything. Yeah, king e2 and knight d4. It will be perpetual.
That's one way we can end the game. But we sack the queen.
Sack the queen.
To get like, okay, what did black do? Yeah, probably takes. Yeah,
takes and then takes d4 and then king g8. And then knight d6.
Oh, wow, okay. So let's just stop for a second just to understand what we've seen. White has three pieces and a rook for the queen. However, this can get captured. It probably got captured, right? Or did black do something else?
No,
position?
You have to take. You have to take,
it,
yeah.
So,
and then just castle.
So now we have a rook and still three pieces.
Yep. And now the bishop on c8 is under attack.
And believe it or not, this is still like something the engine considers equal.
Yeah, it is still equal. And there are many ways to make a draw in this game. I saw a lot of top elite players make a draw out of this opening.
Wow. Okay. So Fabi's deciding to test his memory, but he also might be having some new ideas.
Maybe, it's going to be, I think it's going to be interesting because, well, I've been following this line just to see how these top players update themselves. But if Fabi comes with something new and some novelty in the end, like how to make, things a little bit harder for black to make a draw because objectively speaking, it's going to be equal in the end.
Right.
But it's very imbalanced because it will be like three pieces against a queen.
But basically, Fabi avoids that line that Grandelius went for because he didn't take on a8.
He didn't take on a8. Yeah,
right?
This is also another idea.
He goes for castles queenside, which is actually more popular than knight takes a8. And now the most played move for black, well, I guess black has to do something about this threat, is to take this knight. So he can take it with the bishop or he can take it with a knight.
Usually it's with the bishop because you don't want to get hit back after bc3 and attacking the bishop and losing a tempo.
Yeah.
So you might want to take it with the bishop and then tries to play g5. This is like one of the ideas as well.
Let's just take a look at knight takes c3, just because it kind of feels like getting a check here is not a bad thing. You're not exactly losing a tempo, right? So at this point, black is up a pawn. They haven't lost any material yet, and it's their turn. So their only issue is this rook, right? And I guess if they move their rook to b8, that's one of the questions. Why is that so bad? I mean, rook b8. Now there's this move.
c4.
Yeah,
maybe
you
also
try to
that
get
one.
rid of the bishop and attack the rook.
Right.
So that's the problem. Or there could be some c4 idea, right? Also discovery and hitting the d5 pawn. But then there's bishop d6. Yeah, then I guess we're kind of creating a problem for the knight. So better to extricate the knight first. And then let's say the bishop moves somewhere. So where can he go? I don't know, bishop c5. The funny thing is we're not even necessarily taking this guy. If we take him, well, we can. We're kind of putting the knight back in his starting position, yeah? And we have to start doing stuff quickly because, if black gets developed, they're going to have a great position.
Right, yeah.
So there is this line where white sacks black sacks the exchange, but white, I guess, is a bit better. So maybe not rook b8. Maybe that's the wrong approach. what else can we do? I mean, I guess c4 is a very big idea, yeah?
Yeah.
Always. And you can't just kind of go back because then they will be taking. Okay, let's take a quick look at Magnus versus Prague. Magnus is looking away from the board. Prague is thinking. So one move happened after queen e6, and it was the move bishop f4. Well, he's attacking this pawn.
Right. So how to defend it?
Probably c6 and then d5, right? Actually seems pretty logical. I wonder what the idea is. So, like, let's say c6 happens. Is he just going to go, like, bishop c4, but then d5, right? If you go bishop d3, still d5.
So maybe you have to take first?
Well, I really don't want to take. I really don't want to take that queen.
But I think the c6 is you know, your bishop on c8 is kind of blocked because all the pawns are on the light square. Maybe it's a provocation.
But it's going to get unblocked. I don't know. Yeah, I think he's just going to move the bishop away.
No, I mean if you take on e6 first.
If you take on e6,
how do you take it back?
Yeah, like that.
And then bishop d3. And I'll put my bishop on e5 and stop it unless you play d6, but there is b4.
Okay. Well, you could try taking. Yeah, I mean, of course, DE is like completely fine, but let me try my more ambitious approach. Bishop D3. So you're saying if I go there, okay, like my bishop is still kind of blocked. Although I think I'm okay with my stronger center. Yeah, like I think I will, be absolutely fine here. But maybe I'm wrong. Bishop E5 castles.
Yeah, castle.
And some sort of positional advantage, yeah, based on this bishop. You can maybe put the king on D2, the rook on E1. Maybe I played D5 a little too soon. Maybe I need to maintain flexibility. Actually, let's take the tempo first. Yeah, of course. Let's attack the bishop. At least get that tempo and see where you go. So if you go here, maybe we can try. I don't know. Can we go E5 because you can't really take it because of rook E8. And then maybe I play D6. So maybe I have time to set up my pawns like this. Let's say I go here, you castle somewhere, some way, right? And then I go D6. So I think I was just in time because now B4 is harmless.
Right. Yeah, this could be it.
Yeah. So I don't know. Bishop F4 doesn't seem like a very scary move, but it's hard for white to really scare black when they go into this line.
Also, if you don't want to deal with those lines, you just play bishop b6, yeah? And there's simply nothing's wrong with that move.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the one thing you don't want to do is like castles and give up the pawn, because then I don't think you can like wind up trapping the bishop.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Because there's
always
b4 ideas, yeah? I mean, you could try. We can look at it. But it's a risky way to play.
You can take it first, I guess, yeah?
Yeah, or I mean, even b4 looks quite okay.
Immediately.
I think so. Oh, but then it gets kind of fun. Look at this line. Okay. I think we stumbled onto some amazing computer line.
Wow.
Look at that. If you take like that, it's a discovery, and then I win your bishop back, and I'm trying to basically win this bishop. Okay. But anyway, Prague took on e6.
Yeah, just to...
sorry, on e2, yeah. So now Magnus probably captures with the bishop. Oh, he took with the king. Okay.
And still offering the c6, d5 idea. Yeah, what about now? I think it is completely fine. c6, d5. I think I like black's position better just because of the pawn structure. But okay, it's very minor, yeah? Like the advantage is just very slightly.
Bishop d3, d5, and I guess he's going to put his king on f3. Is that his idea?
Yeah,
maybe
that's
put
probably
the king on f3 and just go rook e1. So d5 is on the board. It's interesting in this position where white can sort of do anything. Like, what's white going to go for? There's also b4. There's b4 and a4. You can like try to get some space on the queen side. So like, for example, something like that, like this. I don't really know if we're accomplishing much, but we can try.
But I like this idea, putting the king on f3.
Yeah.
You're just getting ready for the end game because no.
But I think he does actually want to take a bit of space over here, because otherwise, you're right. Like, black's pawn structure is just a little bit better, so white is really like, I don't know, doesn't have anything to do at all. You can play queen king f3; it's normal, but you know, maybe at least take a little bit of space, give black something to think about, and it doesn't seem harmful. Like, I don't feel like it. Well, on the other hand, I don't know. Maybe if you go here and try to attack me from this side.
Yeah, that could be. Yep. And now maybe the king will park on d2 anyway. Yeah. So you play some sort of like rook e1.
Yeah.
Or I like this idea. What
Like
about
this, right?
What about if we play instead of a4 in this position? Yeah, after bishop e7, bishop e5. And put the bishop on d4.
Well, yeah, I was thinking about that, but there's f6 and b6, right? So they can try f6 and then b6.
But that
It gets a little sharp.
Are you sure you want to
Play
push?
c5. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I kind of wanted to pretend like I was threatening that. And you're trying to say that like I'm a little weak over here, yeah? Like I can't really move my rook easily.
Unless you castle, but yeah.
You kind of keep the king here. Yeah, you can play bishop e5. But the funny thing is, like, I think what we're watching, right? I mean, just so our viewers don't get tricked, is like we kind of know what both of the players are like are agreeable to here. I would be very surprised if like this really becomes a full-fledged fight, you know? So that's just not really how you start the game when that's what you're looking for.
It's already like a gesture usually by white player.
Yes.
If you're going into this line, you're not looking for anything special.
Right. So he just played c4.
Okay. Yeah, so I think that neutralized the center kind of, because you don't want to play d4 in this position, do you?
Yeah.
Right? So maybe this pawn will be traded off and we'll be seeing like almost a symmetrical position.
Yeah, I mean, let's see c4 is for sure like 100%. Like that's, I mean, if we had any doubt about Magnus's intentions, that pretty much reveals everything. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, in fact, like white has to maybe be a bit more careful because their king is in the center. So black either goes here, or they can trade and then develop this bishop somewhere. Like, okay, let's just trade and attack something. Because I can't go bishop d3, right? Because you take, and then I might lose that pawn if I take with the king.
Right. So maybe rook h e1 now.
Like that. Yeah. So if I take, you win my bishop with a discovery.
Right. So if you castle, for example, and I can play bishop b3 maybe, or f7 is hanging, so I can maybe trade it like that. And
yeah, it's funny, but and then it gets a little sharp, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I have king f1 too.
Yeah.
But rook f8. Yeah, the other there's bishop. Yeah, bishop g4. So I cannot do it right away.
So probably bishop b3 or c3. There's b5. So probably this
bishop b3 looks solid.
Yeah.
And then I always have king
like
f1.
That, and then you even have king f3.
Oh, king f3. Yeah.
Either of them work. Yeah. Okay. That's one way the game can go. What else? So like you can start with bishop e6, which basically forces this. And now what do we do?
King d2. Or not. Oh, after is hanging.
Yeah. Well, we can go here.
Yeah, bishop e3 too.
You take, I take. If you take, I go there and I win the pawn.
Yep.
And if you don't do that, then I just play f3 and I bring my king there or there and it's a draw.
Right.
Okay. Super exciting. Okay. Can we now move on to the other game? Let's go. Fabi versus Najat. Here we're seeing an actual game, guys. So after castle's queenside. Najat took with the bishop, which is the most popular choice. And white captured back with the pawn. Queen e7. Is queen e7 the most popular? It's not, actually. It's not. This move that Najat played is kind of a rare move. Actually, both e5 and g5 are more popular, and even rook b8. So e5 has been played in this position by, it's not like I don't see like the very top players' games with that move. G5 was played by Thomas Luther a long time ago. So, I mean, overall, we are okay. We're in a fairly rare line, right, where we don't see like tons of games of the top players. But Queen e7 was played by Najat. And I can understand him. He kind of wants to give a check. If the king goes there, he sets up a checkmate. Of course, if you give a check, the king will run out this way. And what does Fabi do? I think he goes c4. So let's just... Oh, so did I say the king goes there? No, there's a knight there. So sorry, guys. Yeah, you can't take on a8 because queen a3 is actually mate. Yeah, you can't run. So you got to...
So you have to play c4.
Yeah, you got to go king b1 and run into knight c3, and then you get checkmated on a2. So that's why Fabi guards that square. He goes c4. And after that, Najat goes queen f6. So already queen f6 is a new move. By the way, the engine bar really likes white in this position, and Fabi plays c3. Wow. I mean, okay, if he does wind up winning like this out of the opening, I'll say that, that was pretty much a great opening preparation, great choice of lines.
Yeah, they might as well just play tiebreak because we will see one tiebreak from Magnus versus Praggnanandhaa tomorrow.
Yeah,
so
we're going to see two tiebreaks.
Two tiebreaks, yeah. Well, it will be exciting. Actually, today is very exciting because even though the other game, it looks like it was very drawn, but both of the players, they have to be careful still because... it's not as easy as it looks. There are still so many positional nuances, but on this board, we have a completely opposite nature. This is very, very sharp, very tactical, and also you could already see where the kings are. So it's already a sign that it's going to be a very sharp game.
Yeah, so Abasov was threatening a checkmate here. Fabi blocked. I guess the pawn, cannot be taken again because that will hang ultimately, and Abasov played g5. So right now we're on 13 moves. Is this going to be Fabi's first think of the game?
Well, I doubt it because g5 is the first computer line.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he's just trying to recall what he's already prepared before, but yeah, you never know because this queen e7, queen f6, it's not the main move, yeah? So probably he also just saw it on the board, but all the moves that Fabi did, the last couple of moves that he did, he was just trying to protect himself from getting checkmated. So it's kind of like automatic.
So by the way, let's try to understand again why the rook can't go to b8. It seems to be as simple as c takes d5 and that pawn collapses and then the knight comes back, yeah? That seems to be the issue. So he throws in g5 to kind of destabilize the bishop. And the bishop doesn't have a whole lot of squares. Like, white has to react in a tactical way, right? Because if, let's say, the bishop makes what we would call a normal move, well, you can't even go there because you lose the pawn, so I don't even know what would be considered normal. Bishop g3? Would you consider that normal?
Yeah, maybe something to consider.
So what would, after bishop g3, what can black do?
Oh,
They
also
can trade.
another normal is cd5. You just want to.
Oh,
You just want to take this knight. Oh, but cd5. Yeah, cd5 works.
is another interesting
Queen
move.
f4, queen f4, g4, and then
There's knight f2 hanging.
yeah.
So maybe,
Also
maybe
c6
this
is
doesn't
hanging.
work
Yeah.
because there is something like that. And, well, if you take the rook, then sort of we go try to take your rook.
Takes c6 and takes d1 maybe, or h1. But h1 looks very dangerous, right?
It does look like, well, it looks like a crazy position. It's so hard to make your way through this, actually. I mean, if you take here, and then just king d1, and I guess white is up a piece.
Yeah, just a piece. So you have to take on h1. But then...
Yeah, that's a pretty crazy line here.
Probably take, c7.
So why is this pawn actually dangerous? This knight can't even move. This is crazy. I guess this is the idea, yeah? And
So-
then trade and try to go c8.
So taking instead of c7, so taking on c8 doesn't work. Maybe it's a bit too slow. Like it's okay. Keep going after king, rook d8, king g8, and then let's say rook takes c8, rook takes c8, and then takes on b7, and then rook b8, bishop a8. So
But then you can't really dislodge the rook. But yeah, I agree. It's an interesting line to look at. Here.
yeah, it's too late for me.
Yeah, it's like the problem is when you put the bishop there, you can't put the knight there, so
Yeah.
you can't really get rid of this rook, and then my knight comes back quickly.
Yeah.
Very fast. Okay, so let's go back a little bit, and after g5, yeah, we're considering all the options for white. Like the main move is this one, which basically. It's like you're forcing a queen trade. Well, it makes sense because they can't take you, right? Because they lose the queen. So they have to go here. So you trade, and then you take their rook. I think you take the rook. I mean, yeah, I don't think it makes much of a difference. Like you can take it right like that, and then they take your bishop, and then you take here, and we're basically just up in exchange, right? As white for a pawn. But do you have enough compensation? Because you're not really trapping my knight. And I can even go, I can't even go knight c7 here. Or if I'm afraid of you going knight e4, because I guess you're going to have to, right? Like probably, like, yeah, this is maybe a little bit unclear.
I think it's better to just develop the bishop because f2 is not a threat after knight e4.
You want to just play like bishop d3? Or
No, knight c7 is good after
like,
knight e4.
and then bishop d3 or something?
Bishop d3, bishop b5 because...
This little guy's a little problem.
Yeah, but then bishop b5 then it's better because there is knight d5.
You want to just go here, and now if you take, you lose, and if you take, white is still just massively better, yeah?
Yeah, just knight d5 and exchange everything. Yeah, just...
Yeah, just kind of an... Wait, so hold on. Basically, Fabi is thinking here, this might be bad enough for black that he didn't even really check it with the engine. It's possible. And I do think that bishop d6 as one of the only checks on the board is going to be something he looks at.
Yep.
Right, so I think that the likelihood of this line happening is extremely high.
Yeah, I think I'm not betting.
Yeah.
If I could bet, I would bet my money on that line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just going here, forcing the queen trade and taking the rook. Then they have to take your bishop.
Can you insert c d5?
Yeah, but you can do it here. It's all the same.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like you're basically getting this. And this is like some technical position, which should be winning for white, yeah? Because there's a lot of moves. So there's knight c7. I guess you could look at rook d5, but why would you do that? There's the bishop, there's knight c7 and bishop b5, which you mentioned. And then there's also this little move, which tries to completely destroy the counterplay. Now, can you actually stop knight c7?
I don't.
Only with a really ugly move like
Knight e8, yeah. But then also it blocks the rook to the other knight, so it doesn't really...
So you can go here, I come
Knight
out,
c7.
you try to save your pawn. And now I was thinking, can I just sort of maneuver my knight in like that? This must be just technically winning, right? Put the knight on d4 if you don't want to trade. So I think Fabi's opening has worked out extremely well.
Yeah, I think so too. So, wow.
I mean, it's good to know this stuff because, I mean, first of all, I can imagine how unpleasant it is to be facing this without, like, adequate preparation as black. You know, just to be like, well, yeah, I'm supposed to play, you know, bishop b4 and I'm supposed to take this pawn, but then there's, like, all this knight c7 stuff happening. I'm in danger of losing my rook, and I don't remember exactly how this goes, right? It was super unpleasant. Wow. So apparently here, like, queen e7 was just not that great of a move.
Yep, it is not. But I mean, I think Nijat was caught on surprise there because, yeah, he definitely didn't predict that this is the line that was going to happen today.
Yeah. No, but good preparation by Fabi.
Yeah, g5 instead of queen e7 has to be played in order to maintain
g5,
the equality.
Yeah?
E5 and g5.
E5 and g5, yeah, both of these moves.
Very sharp there. Yeah, if you didn't prepare this beforehand, you know, I could understand why is this so scary.
Yeah, well, let me try to play this like not having prepared it firsthand. Okay, so let me try to play e5. Well, I suppose you're going to take the rook because this is hanging, yeah?
You could also take on sorry, you could also take on e5, right?
You can also, well, but then, do I get a tempo or do you have queen e4?
Yeah, queen e4.
Wow.
And queen g5, queen e3. It's a mess.
All right, so like basically you're saying like you can even take.
But I think it's wrong.
And then take.
Just queen c7. Just queen c7,
Okay, then
right?
black is up a piece here, yeah?
Okay, okay.
So, okay, let's say e5. Well, do I take the rook or do I have some other move? There is this move, which leaves this knight hanging. Well, let's try taking the rook, right? Let's try taking the rook, which is apparently a bad
Queen
move.
a5. This is this queen a5. I think is always the idea when white allows it.
And as in contradiction to what I was thinking, the king is not able to run to d2. Yeah.
So you cannot take on c8. Let's try taking on d5 maybe?
Knight takes d5, yeah? Okay, so this knight is hanging. What do we do? Can I just take on f4? You take here, maybe bishop e6 or something. Let me just try that. That looks humanish to me. But it's amazing.
But then there's that
it looks
f4.
human, but the computer just, yeah, it just hates it. Well, yeah, I mean, there's knight f4 and you just take, right? And I guess you're way better.
I think
because
so.
you're up a pawn. You're at least going to.
And also the king on f8 is not standing well.
Yeah.
You can just take.
Yeah, and also you have rook d7. There's a lot of problems. Yeah. Well, no, I mean, basically this is how modern chess goes, right? If you're entering these super sharp lines and you got no computer analysis, it's so hard for someone to navigate. Because even knowing one extra move compared to your opponent is like this huge advantage.
Right.
Like Fabi might be out of his book now, but he's got a winning position, you know?
Yeah.
So he just needs to, calculate a couple of forcing lines.
Yeah, I don't know whether this come as a surprise for Fabi as well to face this c5 e6, because I don't think Ninja is usually playing.
Well, if you think about it, yeah. If you think about it, Fabi wouldn't really be preparing the move queen e7 here. And queen e7 is by far not the most popular move, right? Like, so if you prepare with the computer, you see that e5 and g5 are played, and you see the number of games. Like, why would you spend a lot of time on this, right? And then when it happens, you're like, okay, yeah, I know that idea. I'm always reacting c4, so he does that to stop the mate. Right, what happened at queen f6? You got to stop the mate again. So these moves are kind of forced for him. And then this is like, okay, the first time in the game he's stopping to think.
Right. Yep. And bishop d6 would be a very good move. But let's see what's happening between Carlsen and Praggnanandhaa, whether we have some developments on that game.
Okay, so the pawns came off the board. Bishop f5 happened, and you were, I think, suggesting the move rook to e1 here.
Right, he didn't bother, just rook hd1. Okay, let's figure it out.
hd1. Wow.
Oh, just bishop f7 and rook c1. Or rook c1 immediately and then bishop f7.
That's a crazy way to play, though, right? I was just, why did he need to get himself into this line where he has to find these tricks?
Rook c1 first, yeah I think.
But, okay. I mean, I guess you are right, and he's going to prepare that discovery.
And going for the opposite side bishop.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
so after bishop g6, you're going to take. And, I mean, still, you know, I don't know why he, like really went for this line, because if anyone's, I don't know, tiny bit better, I guess I would take black, because the bishop is really good.
Yeah,
right?
But then f3, king f2, yeah?
Yeah, I guess we should neutralize that, right? But still.
Oh, bishop e5 and f4. Wow.
Bishop e5.
I like it better. Bishop e5 now.
Yeah.
And then
f4.
f4.
And I still can't take your pawn. Yeah?
Yes, and bishop is so good on e5.
Yeah, I mean, I still feel like it's a strange way to play if you're trying to make a draw. And Prague did not take.
Yeah, he just castled.
Did he? Oh, okay, he castled.
And then bishop d3 happened. And then
okay, well
bishop
now,
e6.
yeah, now it's going to kind of fizzle out. But okay, it's interesting that he decided. I mean, I guess there was no point for him to trade because then actually White's a little better because White gets the d file, and you know they would contest for the d file that way, right? So instead, he plays bishop e6. Okay. So what's Magnus going to do here? The bishop is, I don't know, maybe is he trying to come here? No, that's not really a problem.
I think the king will just go to f1. F3 would be quite comical because then the king will be cut out. I think just king f1 and then probably double the rook on the e file.
Oh, you know what I think is the best move?
Don't tell me it's b4.
No. I was trying to see if I can just go bishop e3.
Ah.
You know? Because, I mean, I'm trying to make a draw here, right? So, but I think he went king f1.
Yeah, king f1.
King f1, yeah. No, I mean, bishop e there would actually still be a check. And then if we go there, there's some...
Yep.
Thing like that.
Still okay.
Yeah,
take
still
on,
okay.
Yeah,
but
not necessarily
all
going
right,
there.
he went king f1 off of the open file. And Carlsen is studying the score sheet. He's like, it's been 16 moves.
Yeah, still needs to play another 13 to make the draw for.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess we can expect Black's rooks to be kind of coming to the open files here. I don't really see anything that much more productive that he can do. And maybe he expects just to move the bishop back and try to get those trades on the d file.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally almost symmetrical position, and but I'm also curious what Praggnanandhaa will still be doing, because this is happening to many of us, when we're playing against higher rated players, and when they are choosing rather peaceful opening, sometimes it makes us a bit relaxed, like, oh, this is just going to be a draw. But then turns out if we are too relaxed, there are still these positional nuances that we have to work on. And if you fail, it could be backfired.
Okay, so there is actually... Oh, sorry. So he played rook d1, right? And he played bishop d3. Oh, we have that on the board. And then he plays... Oh, no, king f1 is not on the... It is on the board.
It is on the board. King f1. And then rook f8.
Ah, rook f8. That's the current position. Okay. So, white to move. Yeah, I mean, it feels like, Prague's position is a little bit more comfortable, right? Because white has been the one who's been kind of trying to make these simplifying moves, and not black. I don't really see much of a plan for white. Black control, like maybe, I was going to say maybe some pawn move.
b3.
b3, I was going to say a4, so Magnus goes b3. Tries to block the bishop. I'm sure he'll play a4 when given the chance. Maybe he should have started with a4. So if there's b5, there's bishop e4, right? Or what happens on b5 actually?
I think a4.
A4, yeah.
And then put the rook on e1 and then double the rook and something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Praggnanandhaa will do something like this. Probably just also push another pawn, maybe the other pawn, like h6, for example. Or yeah, put the rook on the center.
Okay, now stuff is going to get traded on the d file. So now Magnus just needs to figure out where he wants to move this bishop to offer a trade. Is bishop e2 sufficient? Bishop e2, bishop d4, rook b1. Yeah, I think then you're threatening to double up, right?
Yeah, just rook e1.
Oh. He went rook e1 instead of bishop.
Yeah, because bishop is always standing better on d3.
I like it on d3. Yeah. It's very nice and solid. Yeah, rook e1. Okay. I mean, I guess, what's the idea? He just wants to kind of put it somewhere here?
e2. E2 and rook e1 or something. Or now even just put another rook on d1 is also another idea. And then pretty much wait.
Should we go take a look at Fabi's game?
Yes, I think we can have our first break soon, but let's check ourselves on this. So far, still there is no move by Fabiano, and he's already spending more than 18 minutes to come up with a move now.
Yeah. Wow, it's interesting that he's spending so long. 18 minutes is quite a while to calculate this line, right?
But I think he sensed it. Like, this is already like a critical position. And judging from the time situation as well, that he could spend as much as he wants because Nijat himself already spent 25 minutes. So, yeah, I think it's still understandable. So, and also he's in a must-win situation. You know, all these things kind of like build up and accumulated. So
let's just look at like an example of not a very good move, right? Compared to bishop d6, like something like that. And the reason like this is not powerful enough is because after the queen trade, you make another trade, and then you actually have time to save that rook. That's the problem. Now, you could still be better here as white, but yeah, the most you can do is get the pawn back, right? Because you're down a pawn still, so you can get it back and, claim some sort of advantage here anyway, based on some initiative, bishop c4, this pawn is hanging. But obviously this is not like as powerful, I think, as just winning the exchange, right? So there we go.
Yep.
We see bishop d6 on the board. Yeah.
And I think king g7 should be played instantly. Yeah? There's no other way.
Yeah. Yeah. That's an unfortunate way for the game to go for Nijat.
Yep. And which move shall we see after king g7? What do you think Fabiano will play?
He's going to trade the queens.
He's just going to trade, and then take on a8, take on d5, just like what we mentioned. Yeah, I
mean, there's
I
no
agree.
reason for him not to trade the queens because, like, if he takes the rook, well, you can take the rook too. It's kind of funny
because you don't have any better move than taking on d6, right?
Yeah, because I mean, even if you trade the queens, like even this position is still way better for white. It's actually maybe the double pawn is not even harmful.
Yeah, because you have a line for the rook on g.
Yeah.
So
maybe he's not even going to trade the queens. Maybe he just takes the rook directly. And but I mean, after knight takes, maybe at some point he has to trade the queens.
Yeah, he has to. But I like the idea of just taking the rook first because you're giving your opponent some option, like a worse option to play. So sometimes if you have like options like that, maybe it's objectively worse, but sometimes you're kind of tempted.
So you're thinking he might just take on a8?
That's probably it, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's nice that he has good options here.
Right. Okay, so I think it is our cue now while players are also pondering on what to move. We have a very exciting position between Fabiano Caruana versus Nijat Abasov, and also we have quite an almost symmetrical position between Magnus Carlsen and Praggnanandhaa. So yeah, we will take our short break and we will see you soon.
Azərbaycanın təbiətindən, Naxçıvanın torpağından süzülərək gələn təbii suyun sirri, Sirab.
Hər damlasında həyat var.
FIDE World Rapid Team Championship 2023 inaugural edition is hosted by Düsseldorf, Germany, August 25th to August 28th, 2023. Brand new format. Star lineup featuring world champions Vishwanathan Anand, Vladimir Kramnik, Hu Yifan, Alexandra Kostyuk, world number 5 Jan Nepomniachtchi, world number 8 Wesley So, world number 10 Richard Rapport and many others. Record prize fund of €250,000. Don't miss it. Watch unique event visiting Rheinterrasse Düsseldorf or live on FIDE YouTube.
Welcome back, everyone, to the final of World Cup 2023. And we are entering the second hour of the second game right now. And we have a few developments in the game between Magnus Carlsen versus Praggnanandhaa. So let's quickly take a look.
All right. So after white moved the rook to e1, black gave his king a square with h6, rook a d1, king f8, f3, bishop b4, and rook e4. Interesting. I thought about maybe bishop d2, but I guess it's a little passive, yeah? Bishop d2 also seems like it's like a possibility. I don't know if the bishop would move back, maybe attack the pawn. So he goes rook e4. And that is our current position. They've made 22 moves. I expect black will probably protect the bishop with a5.
Yeah, but I think it's also possible that, it depends on how are you going to play in this position. If you just want to keep a draw, you can actually play bishop c3 maybe, just keeping the diagonal for the bishop. Yeah, and then some trade will happen. Yeah, because
maybe we go bishop d2 anyway. To be honest, right? Like, can't we just do that move? Because we can't go to the e file without it. So let's just try that. I mean, then you can't move your bishop away because of the pawn. Well, I mean, you could move it away, but probably you won't. I mean, I guess the game could keep going in a slightly sharper direction if black chooses c5. A little bit of a weird move, right? If white goes c3, you have bishop a3.
Oh, d3 is hanging too.
Yeah. So there's no c3. Okay.
Yeah. But it's quite committal to play this decision. Maybe bishop c5 is on the board. So it's a quiet draw offer here by Praggnanandhaa as well. Like, Carlsen could just play
a rook back to e1.
Rook back to e1, and they might repeat some moves there. So
he attacked the rook attacked him, and then he went back where he
bishop
was
c5.
Already, right? Yeah. So it is in a way a quiet draw offer. But, I mean, is there anything Magnus could do to improve his position a little bit? How about doubling the rooks? Is there any point in that? I don't really see a lot of point to that, right? I don't see exactly, what we're doing, but you can try that. I do feel like, this is quite okay as well.
They just come back, yeah?
Yeah, and it might put this game to rest in the next few moves.
Yeah, I think Magnus is thinking if there's anything else that he can do in this position. Objectively speaking, it's an equal game, but maybe he's trying to get some edge, which is going to be hard because Praggnanandhaa's position is very solid as well.
How about bishop e3? Can we do that? That's another impossibility to get some trades.
Yeah, many things happen. And maybe bishop d6 even.
Yes.
You get a7, I get h2.
Bishop d6, well, then I take. Then you probably still have to do a little bit of work.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of work. You just go rook a8 and you take the pawn back. All right, well, how long do you think this game is going to continue? I think it'll be over within like half an hour.
Yeah, 30 minutes. Yeah, within 30 minutes. Well, it depends on Carlsen's next move, actually. If he's going to know.
Oh,
he's doubling the rook. Yeah.
He doubled up.
So
here we go. He doubled those rooks. Oh, you know what it is? I think he's inviting Prague to just like attack his rook, and then all the rooks can come off the board. I think that's what that is about.
Yeah,
what do you think?
Possible.
I actually really like this as an invitation. Bishop d5, and then everything can get traded. Then it becomes even easier. Yeah. So I think that's what his move is really after. It's like an invitation for that to happen.
Right. Yeah, but here, how many moves do you think that black has just to keep the equality?
Oh, pretty much any move. But watch bishop d5 happen. Let's see. There you go.
Yeah.
You see how we can read the players' minds, right? It's like the hidden things going on in these moves. Yeah?
All the captures on e8.
Yeah. Yeah.
And up to king e8 later, it will be 25 moves. So they have to make another 5 moves.
Yeah, it's going to be way shorter than half an hour. Because now that the rooks are off the board, there's even less suspense, right?
Right. And maybe they just play the king moves. Yeah, king e2, king d7, and so on. Okay, but Carlsen is thinking. But it's likely that he will just take the rook on e8, or maybe not. Ooh, bishop f5. So he's not taking the last rook. No, he's not taking the last rook.
Oh, he didn't trade the last rook?
No.
Oh, okay. That's funny.
So bishop f5 is on the board.
Okay. Well.
So he wants to take and then play what? Bishop c8?
Yeah, I guess. Okay, so let's say we take. Is this even a threat? It's hard to call it a threat, you know?
Yeah, king e7, yeah. Just
Yeah, I mean, you can go b5 or you can go b6. Yeah, there's not really an issue. Okay, they traded the rooks.
Yep.
King e7, yeah.
king
I guess
e7.
there's no reason to go for this move, even though this should be a pretty easy draw as well. But
No need-
actually, yeah, that kind of damages your pawn structure, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's no need to create a weakness of your own.
Yeah, king e7 on the board. So it's been 26 moves.
Yeah,
and-
we'll stay on this until the end of the game, yeah?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
c4. Okay. Bishop e6.
And maybe another trade, yeah?
Yeah.
Or maybe
he'll definitely trade because his light squared bishop is not the best. He's going to make the trade.
And king takes.
King
yeah.
takes. And
King d2 maybe. King e2, yeah.
Stay on the light squares. Black will put a pawn here. Watch that be one of his moves. a6. Like, just watch that happen. Because he has to make 3 more moves. I'm willing to predict that this will be one of his last 3 moves. Not because he has to do it, but
h3 is on the board. So
h3 on the board,
I think Prague just play h5. Yeah.
Okay.
Just
Well,
put all the pawns on
I might
on
be
the light
wrong
square.
because he also can move that pawn.
Yep. Just put the pawns on the light square and then draw a grid.
Yeah, king e2, g6. Well, okay, obviously we know that's going to happen now. g6 is on the board. And then he has only one.
No, it is already 30th move.
30
Yeah?
move. Okay, they just shook hands.
And they shook hands.
Yeah.
So we kind of predicted the whole thing to happen. Okay, so it's not even 30 minutes. It was just 5 minutes.
Yeah. I'm glad we came back to catch this exciting finish. Yeah, we wouldn't have wanted to miss that.
Yep, so they spent pretty much just an hour and 10 minutes to complete the second game, which ended with another draw. So Magnus Carlsen will be playing the tiebreak tomorrow versus Praggnanandhaa, and it will be at 2 p.m., so 1 hour earlier than usual.
Yeah, well, I mean, the good news for chess fans is that tomorrow we're going to get a really good match. You know, obviously, today's scenario didn't produce anything interesting. That happens sometimes in chess. You know, there is this sort of option where you can, a player playing white has the choice to steer the game into a really quiet direction, and pretty much both players understand what is going on and what the intentions are behind these opening choices. So yeah, it's hard to get excited about this game. It was quite clear what was happening, I think, from Magnus's decision to take on d4. How early was that, actually? From the moment that Magnus took on d4 and played e5, that was, move, 6.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very, very famous way to make a draw, right? So we kind of lost the suspense in this game quite early. But, the positive news is that, Magnus loves that rapid and bliss chess.
Yep.
And Prague is really good at it. So we're going to get a big show tomorrow.
Yeah, totally. Actually, I'm looking for tomorrow because, no, they're not going to play some peaceful or boring openings. I would actually bet that the first game of their tiebreak tomorrow, it would be quite explosive.
It could be, yeah. So let's move on to the only game left today. That has been going quite well for Fabiano Caruana.
Wow, so Fabi found this little move f3. Yeah.
Oh, he did play f3, yeah? Yeah, so everything is that we looked at. There was a capture on f6, king takes f6, and knight takes a8. Knight takes d6, white traded the pawns, and actually did play the favorite move of the engine, this move f3, just stopping all the knight e4 ideas. And white is up in exchange for a pawn.
Yep.
But the other thing is that this pawn is also quite weak. The knight is going to be able to extricate himself and attack it. And, you know, basically it's just not a lot of fun for black, right? I mean, black is going to be down in exchange in all the scenarios here.
Yes, yes. So, well, it is quite a suffering to play as black in this position because you're trying to prove that there is enough compensation, which objectively speaking, it is not enough.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be quite an easy day for Fabiano.
Yeah, should be quite easy. I mean, okay, black has a chance to try to trade off this pawn. So we can try knight f5, right? The knight comes out, and at least you can trade it instead of losing it. I think we have to take it. Let's say you play like that. But, I mean, maybe I can go bishop d3, bishop c4 here. By the way, the king will be really well placed on b2, right? So...
Oh, there's one funny line. Can I show you?
Sure.
Yeah, instead of, okay, here, I like to play bishop d3. But okay, this is just my imagination.
Yeah, go ahead.
Then after this, I can play rook here. I like all developing moves. So
You want to play knight e8 somewhere?
Yeah.
So you got to checkmate with knight
actually,
e8?
this could be also a very good idea, right?
Yeah.
Because this is free pawn. Sooner or later, you'll take it back. And then now you have a direct attack of knight e8 and g4. So if this knight actually moves, like for example here, we will have knight e8 on the board and look at the king, cannot go anywhere, so the rook has to sacrifice. But if you don't go anywhere, I will also play knight e8, king g6, and then g4.
Yeah. Yeah, that's quite nice. So basically you're saying that like on d4 you don't even want to take. Yeah, you just want to
Just
develop.
play develop, yeah.
Develop. Yeah, you know, I don't really see him going for that because I think like, well, this is just so simple, right? You know, he'll just go for simplicity. But I totally see your point. You know, that is a very nice line. It's just that, you know, there's more ideas, like there's more sort of like attacks that black can try, right, that I think he's going to want to avoid.
And again, what's funny that after bishop d3, you could still totally do my idea. Because
How do you want to do it? Rook
yeah,
here?
because, maybe not.
But now they're going to sack the rook on. And
just
then they
sack
have
the
bishop
rook.
d7 or knight
bishop
f2.
d7, bishop d7. Yeah, that's true, that's
And then
true.
we
So it's
gave
not
up
working now.
A little too many pieces.
Too many.
No, but I don't think, he's going to need to be very
just
creative. Take the pawn, trade down, and then figure out, like, do you want to move the king or the bishop, and where do you want to move this bishop? If you move him here, is that good? Or is there some sort of, you're going to get hit with that?
I think it should be good.
Bishop
d3.
you can always go to d5, right? Like, okay, like this is one of the good moves. I mean, yeah, it's really just going to be a technical position where white's up in exchange and, they're going to bring in the rook. They're going to bring out the king. They're going to look for these various checks. Maybe black will be forced to trade something. So... yeah, it's also not so exciting after the opening, yeah?
Yeah, because it went kind of quickly downhill for Nijat.
Nijat, yeah.
So, well, this is the thing, right? In the top-level game, like, preparation really matters a lot. And Fabiano shows, like, I actually am curious, like, if Michael can ask Fabi later whether he's preparing against this line just before the game or not, because this could be just his, previous preparation.
General prep?
Just general prep, yes.
Yeah. It could be. We can actually try to see if Abasov has played this line before. Let me do a quick search for Abasov's games. Because it's become so popular these days that pretty much like everyone has this line with knight c6, knight f6 in their repertoire. So Abasov, Nijat with black. Has he been playing? I mean, he has been playing the Sicilian, we know, in this tournament.
That's why I was...
And he has been playing e6. So actually...
No, he hasn't played this.
Yeah, he has.
He has once?
He's had a ton of games in this. So actually...
Oh, not bishop before there. Or maybe...
I see like...
Not bishop f4.
No, yeah, not with bishop f4.
Yeah,
but
not
like
bishop
in
f4.
general, the position after this, he's had a lot as black. So he's faced, the more popular moves, knight b5 and knight c6.
Yep.
And even a3, at least recently in the last couple of years, right? So this is actually a mainstay of his opening repertoire.
Okay. So it's quite likely that Fabi was just preparing.
Oh, yeah, he was preparing. And, I mean, his bishop f4 move, which he could see that Abasov has not faced. I mean, I can see if maybe Abasov has faced it at some point earlier than, let's say, 2021. Let's see. But I would say likely he's never seen it, and when you're facing something for the first time and maybe you haven't reviewed it, it's easy for things to go wrong. But I think it's really good opening prep by Fabi.
Right, yeah.
Because sometimes when you test people's memory, they just don't remember. It's not a bad idea. I think at the top level, this is like one of the strategies, right? It's like that some line is a draw.
You just have to keep going and see if your opponent knows it.
Your opponent knows it too. And you often hear that, and you often hear people saying like, "Oh, I forgot my prep."
Yeah.
But like usually it's it's not always like within the first 10 moves. Like it could be that like later down the line you're playing some sharp lines and you just don't remember it all.
Yeah, because actually, it's amazing to actually know how many lines these top grandmasters are actually preparing generally, not specifically, just generally. So it's very easy to have a line or two slip out of their mind, and that's when your opponent will get tested. So, wow, 2 tiebreaks coming up tomorrow.
Yeah. No, it's going to be, we're going to get a quiet day of chess today, relatively undramatic, but tomorrow it's going to be action-filled.
Okay, another prediction.
Yeah.
If yesterday we finished around 6,
Yeah.
like 5 to 6 actually.
Yes.
What about today? Do you think this game will end like pretty much in the next hour?
It's a little tricky because here's the thing: like white is winning, but it's still sort of a technical end game, right? So they can play this for a while, but I would say that we have a good chance of being done by 6 o'clock today as well.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, actually, that's probably right. And I think all the players need it because they will play at 2 p.m. tomorrow.
2 p.m. Yeah, you keep reminding me. That's good.
I have to keep reminding also the viewers because they have come to the channel like pretty much a month, and it's at 3 p.m.
Yes. So 1 hour early. It's funny when players get used to playing at 3, even like a 1 hour adjustment is kind of significant.
It's a lot. Yeah,
because you have your whole routine about when you're eating your lunch. All right. So, by the way, guys, you're free to talk to us in the chat. We've only got one game going on, and there's not too much to say about it either at the moment. So, feel free to ask us your questions.
Yeah, for those who just recently joined us, yes, the game between Magnus Carlsen versus Praggnanandhaa ended with another draw. So, the match will continue tomorrow on the tiebreak again at 2 p.m. I have to keep reminding people.
Yeah. All right. Well, what do you want to try some moves here for black?
Okay.
We tried knight f5 to try to trade the pawn. We earlier kind of looked at bishop e6 and knight e7 to guard the pawn like that. So, for example, bishop e6, knight here, knight there. I was suggesting knight b5, but it might not be.
I think you have to
best.
play it because rook c8 is coming.
Yeah, rook
but you can
c8,
take on
and then
e6.
maybe I can take on e6. So what's going on in that position? If I take, you take with the f pawn. I guess this is another move that I can do, but it kind of improves your pawn structure a bit, doesn't it? So maybe I don't need to be in a hurry. Well, I see this is a beloved move of the engine. Now, what happens on g4? G4, we can just take the bishop then, yeah? Then we win a pawn. And the idea of this move is that they don't have h6 because their rook will hang, and then your rook kind of enters the game pretty efficiently. So, not a bad idea. Probably if I had to make a guess, I don't know, which of these not very appealing lines black is going to go for. Like, is he going to go for there and trade the pawn? Or is he going to go there and try to keep the pawn? I'm gonna make a guess, right? Why not? I'm gonna say he's gonna go for the keep the pawn
strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's likely. Okay, I'll try to make another guess then with this
You'll
knight
say
f5
knight
and
f5
d4.
and d4, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, the problem with that one is like you get rid of your weakness, but also c3 is kind of a weakness for white, and the game sort of opens up a bit more, you know, when you have only knights on the board and they don't have outposts. You don't necessarily want to open the game, but
Right.
yeah. Let's...
But this is kind of your specialist, no? Because you're used to commentating in Astana, and it's only just one match, and then you did that for like what, 2 weeks?
Yeah. Yeah, let me bring all my expertise to this task, Irene.
Because this is only one match
Yeah.
left.
Well, you know the difference, though? Here's the difference. First of all, that match was super exciting, and first of all, the first half of it, they were like decisive games everywhere. So it's one game, but there's a lot happening, and someone is winning.
Right.
Right. We didn't really actually have any situations like this particular one where like someone is, you know, on the verge of winning after like less than an hour and a half of play. We didn't have that situation. And when someone was getting winning advantages, it was like after some kind of, you know, definitely more drama in the middle game, or like at least, you know, long end games were being played, right? So this type of situation where it's like things are clarified pretty quickly without even much of a skirmish in the middle game, because you couldn't even call that a skirmish. It was like literally one person just not knowing their theory.
Right.
Right. So yeah, we didn't have that situation in Astana.
But I do remember that there was this game that went downhill very quickly for Ding when he played this kind of like a WS novelty of H3.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah.
That's true.
And I think it ended very quickly as well.
But it ended in a kind of a flashy way, right?
Okay.
Things were happening. Here, it's not going to end that quickly, right? Here, we're like in some end game that, you know, is still going to take some time. So actually, wait, he is proving me wrong.
Knight f5.
Yeah, he's going to go for the pawn trade option.
Right.
By the way, I guess we should point out why we're playing knight c7 and not rook d5, right? Rook d5 is actually a really big blunder, because after bishop e6, you get both of these pieces under attack.
Yep, so that pawn is not really a free pawn.
Yeah, it's not a free pawn, and so that's why it's time to get the knight out, and then black actually has to push and trade, right? So he went for a different strategy than the one I was thinking about.
Yeah, I don't think Fabi will take time to play knight c7 because it's kind of obvious. Yeah, there are still so many chess fans gathering there.
Well, why don't you read us some questions from our chat?
If I could understand Hindi, I would.
Yeah. Do we have anyone? Any
Actually,
other questions in English?
Okay, sure. All right. Yeah. Okay. A technical question. At which point did Caruana take an advantage in this game? Did Abasov play in a moves in the opening? Yeah, it was quite an accuracy, but it's also showing that Abasov just simply didn't know this line. Yeah, so that's why he went to like a more dubious line, more dubious moves.
Okay, let me give you a little bit of a history of this line that I've been looking up, guys, because I mean, actually, the importance of the opening in this game cannot be overstated, right? So the first thing is that Caruana employed a much more rare move in this position. He played his bishop out here to f4. Normally white is playing knight here or knight takes followed by pawn advancing. So already he played a move that I think Abasov at least hasn't faced before. And the move is not new. It's not some kind of a novelty. It actually has been played as far back as 1905, like this position has been reached. So you have games from, the early 20th century, like 1924, 1940s, 1960s, like, and in terms of like more famous players, okay. Well, on the black side, we once saw Tigran Petrosian, actually, young Tigran Petrosian in 1948 facing this move. And by the way, you know what is interesting for me? Now I have a big question, a really big one.
Yep.
I want to know why Nijat didn't just go for d6.
Does he have Sveshnikov in his repertoire?
But you have to have the Sveshnikov, but he has to have the Sveshnikov in his repertoire because against this move, like, isn't he going to just go d6 anyway? we can check that, but I would assume.
Yeah, actually.
I would actually assume that he would, right? I mean, it's actually quite strange, right? Because in a way, they're kind of interchangeable. Like, yeah, bishop f4 gives black the option of what he went for in the game. But maybe black should have,
just
stayed
to d6.
To d6. And I don't really see how white can do better than a Sveshnikov. And that's actually the smart choice of, Tigran Petrosian. So back in 1948, Tigran just played d6 and, okay, if white wants, they can go back into this and you're in a main line Sveshnikov, right? So we'll check all of this. Like we have all the time in the world, I think, to delve into the thought processes of the players. But I mean, the question is, is the Sveshnikov in Abasov's repertoire?
I can check it for you.
Yeah, check that part.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we have d4 on the board.
On the board, yeah. Okay. Now, in terms of famous games in this line, and let's say we look at. I wouldn't say that this line with bishop f4 has been like really contested by like very top players, but it's certainly gotten the attention of grandmasters. I see we have games of Alexander Matelyov playing this as white. And actually, I see a game here, Alexandra Kostenyuk versus Anna Muzichuk.
Wow.
So two big names in women's chess. They had a game a couple of years ago that actually went like this. I'll show it to you guys. Bishop b4, knight db5, knight takes e4, queen f3, d5, knight c7. So far it's going like this game. And, okay, Fabi castled, but Alexandra took the rook on a8, and Anna played e5.
Oh, so Anna knew the line better.
The move was different, but she knew that on knight takes a8, you play e5. And the game continued, bishop c1.
Oh, this is the game of Grandelius,
yeah.
So this is the drawing line.
Knight d4, queen d1, queen h4. But somehow black won this game. Let's just take a look at how she did it. Bishop e3. Knight takes c3, and black was already better.
Because it's bishop e3. Kostenyuk mix it up. You have to play g3 in this position.
And g3 here, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. But what?
Maybe it's different.
Was bishop c1? I think bishop c1 is the wrong
bishop
move.
d2 was
bishop
the move.
d2
Bishop
is the
d2
right
was the
move.
move.
So I think already Kostenyuk went wrong.
Yep.
With bishop c1.
Yeah, bishop c1 is wrong. Yes.
Yeah, and then basically c3 was just very weak. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Now.
Knight c3. Yeah, kind of goes bad.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, right? In this type of preparation, like one move really decides the whole game. So you have to be very precise to remember your whole preparation. Because, like a strong player like Kostenyuk herself, right, confusing between bishop d2 and bishop c1.
Yep. So that was a rapid game as well. But yeah, like in, let's say, this year, 2023, you actually, again, you don't have top players like starting with this move order. You're seeing, there's a game by Evgeny Nair in the European Championship. There's a game that you mentioned, Grandelius Gelfand, right? Okay, those are, of course, top players. But other than that, you're seeing this a lot in Title Tuesday. Title Tuesday, it seems to be a favorite line of Mikhail Golubov and Al Tarbash. So everyone, but you know what I mean? But I can see now why Nijat Abasov, was not super well prepared for this line. But I guess my big question to him is why on bishop f4, why he decided not to go for d6.
Okay. Yeah, totally. So I have an update for you. I was checking about the game of Abasov, and yes, he has plenty of games in the Sveshnikov. So I think there is some, some psychological decision there, because he must have thought that Fabi is preparing some Sveshnikov already. Why wouldn't he, right? And we have Praggnanandhaa in the studio. Yep, and 1 second, guys. We'll get things ready very soon. Welcome back, guys, and we have our special guest just now in the studio. I'm so excited. Praggnanandhaa, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh, how are you feeling after the game? It was quite an easy day today, right?
Yeah, in a way, yeah. I guess we both were okay with the draw, so we move on to the tie breaks.
So at which point in your game that you already think, Magnus is taking it easy, then this is not going to be like a very explosive game, it's just going to be a draw? At which point?
Yeah, I guess this moment, yeah, took on d4.
When he took on d4
yeah.
that early, right?
Yeah.
On move 6, I think, yeah?
Yeah. Because this is supposed to be just nothing for white and yeah, one of the ways to make a draw.
Yeah, Irina and I, we also predicted it. It's like, okay, this is going to be a trade of the queen very soon, and then there's pretty much nothing, and there's so many games like this which ended with a draw. But I want to ask you another question. How is your mother?
Yeah, she's doing good.
She must be very proud, yeah. And then we've seen lots of things about her these days. Surely because she's the woman behind your success.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, she has been a huge pillar of support, not only for me, but also my sister. So, yeah.
Amazing. So after this, can you tell me what are your next events?
Yeah, from here actually I'm going to World Rapid Team.
Oh, right. In Düsseldorf, yeah?
Yeah. So tomorrow I have tie break and the next day I travel and then the next day I play again.
Right.
So, yeah, no breaks.
No breaks, yeah. And then you've been on the road since I don't know how many months already. Yeah,
yeah, I played 2 tournaments before this, so I've been already playing a lot. Even after World Rapid Team, there are a lot of plans.
Tata Steel, yeah? You'll be...
Yeah.
You're going to play in Tata Steel, yeah.
So there are many tournaments coming up, so yeah, no breaks for now.
Yeah. So how do you feel as well, not surpassing, but also breaking another record for the Indian, being the second player to be played in the candidates ladder?
Yeah, I guess I'm hoping for more people to join me there. Yep. Because, yeah,
this is only the first qualification for the candidates, right?
Gukesh is also near in this FIDE circuit.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
And there's also Grand Swiss. So, yeah, I guess Gukesh, Arjun, there are many more players out there.
Right. And I also am a bit curious, like, India has lots of prodigies such as yourself, Arjun, Gukesh, and Nihal, right? Do you guys kind of, have some mutual preparation together or sharing some specific lines together? Because we've seen maybe in some of the matches here, when Gukesh played London, for example, and then it was also similar to Arjun's London or something like that.
Yeah, no, of course we follow each other's game. Okay, we are also part of this Westbury Anand Chess Academy. Right. So sometimes our openings can be a bit similar because we have worked through there. But yeah, all of us have personal coaches and we kind of work separately. We don't work together, but Westbury Anand Chess Academy is the only place we all, sit together, analyze positions. So it's always fun there.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, just one last question. Do you see yourself being second by one of your friends? Like, for example, Gukesh or Arjun or Nihal or, all these youngsters.
Yeah, for now, no plans. But yeah,
no plans.
Maybe, yeah.
But in the candidates, you have to build a team, yeah, for all this type of preparation.
Yeah, I guess so, but I haven't thought about it like right now. For me, yeah. Right now, it's just about this tournament.
Exactly, because the tiebreak tomorrow is going to be very important.
Yeah.
And we all are very much rooting for the best player. And you've shown a very tremendous fighting spirit in this tournament. So all the best for you, for tomorrow. And have a good rest. And good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Azərbaycanın təbiətindən, Naxçıvanın torpağından süzülərək gələn təbii suyun sirri, Sirab.
arasında